Alright, looks like the players are drafting. Both of them are here. How's the sound? Sound is good enough. Looks like Alcaroth, aka Cobalt, got first pick. Picked Faust. Chykka picked Chip and Soul. Our first look at Chip should be an interesting one because a lot of players have been claiming, a lot of strong players have been claiming a lot of good things about this character. By strong, as far as the tier list is concerned. Soul not so much, but Chip for sure. Cobalt has picked Ram Lethal and Nagoriyuki. Nagoriyuki, I'm pretty sure, is one of Chykka's more picked characters. And Chykka will round it out with the Potemkin. So we got Chip, Soul, Potemkin. For Chykka, we've got Nagoriyuki, Ram Lethal, and Faust. For Cobalt here. Cobalt? Alcaroth? We'll say Cobalt. We will say Cobalt. Of course, this is some backyard brawl, excuse me. Action run in the Breakfast Club. This is the first long form tournament online that I know of that consists of season 7. Of course, L99 held a couple. I think they held 1 or 2 season 7 events, but this is a long form Swiss tournament with 5 rounds. Okay, looks like the matchups will be Chip versus Ram Lethal, then Faust versus Soul, and to round it out, Potemkin versus Nagoriyuki. I've played 1 game of Ram Lethal, 2 games of Ram Lethal. She seemed okay. A little bit expensive, but she seemed pretty decent. Let's look at her UA. She can spend 2 force for additional range, and I believe on backside this becomes range and power. Chip has, after on everything, you may move 1, and then on flip side, when he cancels, he gets to draw 1. Take a look at the kits here. So we have a range 3, speed 6 move here for Ram Lethal. We have an above curve range 4 option. We have an on curve range 3 option. We have kind of a little bit low on the guard here, but I don't even know what you characterize this. It's like a sweep without guard. Here's like a range 1 to 2 slow option, and then we have DP shape for 3 gauge, and Calvados, which is a 1 to 5 sweep. For Chip, we have DP. We have this card, which can function as mid speed, especially with the evasion paired with Chip's after. We have a Resho, which Resho returns to hand. That could be an interesting thing. We have Gamma Blade. It's 1 to 5. And then afterward can have evasion properties as well. We have an Ignore Guard range 1 option. We have a 9 speed Ultra. We have a Dive Like for boosts. But the boosts are the important thing here. Is we have a +2 speed and a +1 speed. And we have a whole bunch of speeds here. And that's exactly what Chykka starts out with. Boost the Harakiri. Now advance 2, draw 1. +1 speed off the Resho. Not threatening speed 7 cross. Ram Lethal immediately strikes into this. Not spending the force, so speed 7 cross is just free for Chykka, should you choose to take it. I wonder if Ram Lethal's playing her own cross. Ram Lethal does not have a DP option. Chip just goes for the Wild Swing. Ooh, okay. Ram Lethal plays her own cross, and Chip does not have the speed 7 cross there. Wild Swings a focus, has after draw 1, and then after you may move 1. So that's a bit of a early call out there from Cobalt, saying, hey, you don't have the option. And I mean, was correct. Chykka did not have the option. It's an early gauge built for Rem Lethal, an early gauge denied for Chip. Chip may move 1, moves to range 3. Notably, the +2 speed spike stuff is a little bit risky into Rem Lethal, because Rem Lethal can break the speed curve at the cost of 2 force with the UA. Just something to note, right? Also has like a speed 6 option here. Although Chip just initiating a strike, raw strike here at range 1, so we have a range 3 mix up. Other options include the Gamma Blade, although I don't think it's the Gamma Blade. Or the Alpha Blade. Don't think it's Alpha Blade. I think this is just range 3 mix up here. Notably, we do have a speed 6 option here in the Dauro, but wow, it's Chip playing the range 3 sweep and gets called out by the Rem Lethal dive. Nobody, Chip is not stunned, so Chip can still move 1, but that is a spicy call out. Calling out basically just sweep and spike, right? And Chip is not really one to play naked spikes. Chip usually plays spikes paired with additional speed, right? So that is an extremely spicy dive call out from Rem Lethal, and it works out. I think Chip wants to stay at range 1 here. But a good early start here for Cobalt as far as combat wins are concerned. Wow. What a call out. Also, notably, this is also a really good boost. Like, this boost is just insane. We didn't really take a look at the boost kits too much, but draw 3 taking action, good boost. +2 speed taking, is a good boost as well. There's +1/+1 on here as well. These +3 powers really shouldn't matter, so they just read +1/+1 cancelable. +1 speed cancelable. Like a lot of speed for Chip and a lot of evasion due to the UA. Anyway, this will be Rem Lethal boosting the delayed explosion. Now draw 2. Hit push 1 if the opponent was pushed fewer than 1 space, +2 power. Makes something like grass beat sweep. It's kind of what I'm looking at here, range 1. Chip initiates another strike. Just another raw strike, no boost. Of course, has the after move 1 on it. What is this? Is this cross? Like, I don't know what this is for Chip. It's the grasp gets met with the Calvados. Oh, okay. So the grasp will go first. We'll hit for 2 after armor. The Calvados will, of course, not miss because it's a 1/5. Whatever it is, Chip's getting pushed really, really far away. Right, and the Calvados is basically guaranteed to hit here because it's 1/5. So Chip retreats 1 on the after, and then Calvados will push 3, and will hit back for 4. So it's a little bit of a gauge expenditure there. Notably, if Calvados was initiated, then you get that gauge refund. But I mean, Calvados is basically a guaranteed hit there, right? So don't blame Rem Lethal for playing a card like Calvados on defense there. Chip and Rem Lethal now find themselves at range 6. Range 5, Chip has a move in the Gamma Blade. Chip can also just Resho. It's like null beat, right? With after return to your hand. Rem Lethal, I believe, only has range 5 options. JG does have a range 6 option. It's the Calvados. It's the second copy of Calvados with 2 force. But I don't really see that happening. Anyway, Rem Lethal just preps. And we see the second copy of Resho boosted as Harakiri, +1 speed, now advance 2, draw 1. Range 4 for Chip. Like, he has Banki Masai, and he has, like, dive, I guess. Banki Masai is just dive. And then he has the Gamma Blade as well. Right? I mean, he technically has Alpha Blade, but not really. We're going to see a Scramble come out here. Scramble cancel, of course. So Chip must Wild Swing this. And Rem Lethal maybe just playing a Bajanetto? Is that how you pronounce that? Bajanetto? Could be the aggressor, don't know, but I don't think it is. Bayonetta will also notably gain advantage as well as taking this boost. Okay. Oh, looks like Remythal actually maybe spending a lot on is spending for +2 force or +1 max range, spending 2 force. Nope, does not spend. Okay, Chip must wild swing, of course, courtesy of the reading. Genrazan, yeah, just gets stunned. That's an unfortunate wild swing because the Sukiyaki is such a good boost for Chip. But it's going to be 3 damage incoming. Chip gets pushed back to range 6, but then Remythal follows up immediately. Closes 2, back to range 4, gains advantage. All over Chip so far in this early game. Chip has not been able to get any of his Chip shenanigans going. It is Cobalt's advantage, of course. Still hovering at the 2 gauge, so it does not have enough for the exceed side just yet. Okay, initiating another strike here. Does not tack on the force, so again, just range 4 options. Could be Calvados, could be the Aggressa, or could be the second Bayonetta. Or just could be Dive, I guess. Notably, in this position, the Bayonetta does 5 damage, because Chip is very close to the corner here. 5 damage at 5 speed, definitely not a bad option. Would be technically Chip can avoid it by playing something like Grasp and then using that after to move away, to dodge. Chip down 1 Grasp, however. I mean, so far, Remythal's been doing a good job here of keeping Chip at bay. Second Bayonetta, I think, would be pretty backbreaking if it hits. Although it does gain an advantage on after. I did not know that. I thought it would gain an advantage on hit, but nope, gains on after. Chip really taking his time. Both players now check each other's discards. Again, pretty early on. EX dive here for Chip. It's actually the Calvados. So the Calvados, again, full board sweep like. Will spend a gauge, but then obviously refunds it. EX5 will go first, will hit for 6. Of course, Chip, there's no way that Chip can avoid this Calvados, so the only thing Chip chooses is whether he wants to be here or he wants to be in the corner. So EX5 will go first, will hit for 5 after armor. And Chip chooses he wants to stay over here as opposed to cornering himself. The Calvados will, of course, hit back for 3. Because it was initiated, of course, a card from discard will be added to gauge. I don't think there's any ultras in here, though. So we just add the Bayonetta. And yeah, I mean, slowly just chipping away at Chip's health. Chip preps. Back to Remythal here. Does Remythal have a kicker on the exceed? I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I feel like these kickers are a little bit randomly placed, so it's difficult for me to tell you whether they have it or not. Oh, the necessary discrepancy boosted here. That's gonna be that EX Calvados is back in the hand. And then Remythal initiates a strike. Is this just gonna be the Bayonetta return to hand? So reminder, that's EX Calvados and Bayonetta just return to hand off the necessary discrepancy boost. That's an interesting way to spend your gauge. I've not seen that one before. And quote unquote spend your gauge. I mean, it's recursion, right? And maybe Calvados is how Remythal would catch Chip in this particular matchup. It's a very interesting tactic here. I quite like it. It's actually going to be the above curve Dauro, 2 power, but of course beats the on curve slash off the wild swing. So again, that's just slowly just chipping away at Chip. That's just 2 more damage on the board. I mean, super reliable card. It's always gonna hit, right? Above curve range 3. It does lose, obviously loses to Spike and Sweep and the like, right? But so far, Ram Lethal doing a really, really good job here. Just slowly hacking away at Chip. It is now Chykka's turn. Chykka with only 12 HP to Ram Lethal's 23. And those Calvados, as you know, are going to hit, right? Anyway, we're going to see Play the Hero boost. That's we draw 3, take another action. Reminiscent of like a Season 2 boost, right? Although those don't have take another action on them. Just, wow, really, really good boost there. Chip also finds himself on short side of board, which is definitely not where he wants to be. Definitely wants to be on long side of board so he can move around more freely with the after, of course. Also, both copies of Dive are down for Chip, so can't just dive over and then hop over to the other side. So Chip's got to find a way to get out of this mess. +2 speed, again, just to reiterate, +2 speed spikes don't cut it in this matchup, with Ram Lethal having multiple speed 6 options that work, that just poke away, right? And then, of course, you can add Cross to the mix there. Or we see the parry come out. I wonder if this is a parry Calvados? It is. So get rid of one copy of that card. Notably, Chip has to discard, right? So Chip drew up to 8 cards, courtesy of the Play the Hero. So that's to discard 1 for end of turn. Discards the Gamma Blade. Ram Lethal just preps. Back to Chip here. Both players have a full hand now. Chip really needs to start hitting here. Has only been able to initiate raw strikes, and those raw strikes have not worked out in Chip's favor so far. Second parry Calvados, just because just get both of those out of the way. Amazing. Yeah, I mean that is a super reliable card into Chip, right? Especially with both dives down. Just hits the full board. Almost impossible for Chip to dodge, so I don't blame Chykka spending both those blocks just to parry both Calvadoses. Don't blame him one bit. Unfortunately, just the act of parrying is just a little bit slow. Alright, because it's just a one act. Imagine taking only one action when you're a Season 7 character, right? It's a little bit slow, right? No cancel on the parry. So it does give Ram Lethal time to find perhaps other cards that can help deal with Chip, although Cobalt just preps once more, both players now with 7 cards in hand. Back to Chip. We're going to see the Sushi boosted, so this is now Retreat 2. If you're at the edge of the arena, advance 3. On a before, excuse me. Pretty good boost here, especially in this kind of positioning. I do believe Ram Lethal has both copies of Ukemi still up, though. Okay, and wow, Ram Lethal just going to initiate a raw strike into it. Reminder, Chip has before advance 3. EX Cross at speed 7 is going to surely escape anything. And yeah, EX Cross will go first. Brings Chip to the long side of board, where he's now at range 4. Probably just wants to stay at range 4, doesn't want to go back to range 5, and yeah. It's be 4 damage to the sweep. Sweep not stunned. Notably, even if Rem Lethal had spent 4 stun, that Chip just could have gone to range 5 on the after of that EX cross. Although pretty expensive combat there. Notably had to spend the EX cross because of an option like Dowro at speed 6 would beat a single cross. Anyway, that was Rem Lethal's initiation. Chip just preps on his turn. Back to Rem Lethal here. Both these players are very methodical. Oh, another strike here from Rem Lethal. Is this just the 5 power Bajonetto? Right, notably both Calvadoses have been parried, so it's not that. I mean, 5 power Bajonetto gain advantage looks pretty good here. Will Chip try to counter the sweep? Chip can try to dodge with a fast move, I guess. Chip can notably dodge with like an Alpha Blade. We have 7 in hand, 6 in deck for Chip. 5 in hand, 15 in death for Rem Lethal. So Chip really going through that deck. I think his Wild swung 3 or 4 combats. Okay. Chip reveals focus, and it's actually going to be the Aggressor or Dono. So the Aggressor will just build Gauge for Rem Lethal. Rem Lethal retreats 1. That second copy of Dowro hits the Gauge. So that's the above curve option for Rem Lethal at range 3 down, without spending Force, of course. Focus just mitigates some damage. Will mitigate 2 of the 4 damage off the Aggressor. Chip can now choose whether he wants to move to range 4 or range 6, or stay at range 5. I believe both Gamma Blades are down, which is the only option for Chip that hits at 5, I believe. Both Calvadoses are also down for Rem Lethal, but Rem Lethal can still hit at 5, courtesy of the UA, or UA Dive, UA Bajonetto. Both hit at 5. And Cobalt is not lacking in resources for sure, so actually checks out that Exceed side. I don't know if there's a kicker on it, but does give Rem Lethal a little bit extra power, a little bit extra juice that she might need to finish the game off, especially with both Calvadoses down. Anyway, it is Chip's turn. Range 5. Not the place to be. I'm pretty sure both of the Gamma Blades are down, so Sushi. Really, really good boost here, but not possible. Again, Alpha Blade is an option that hits at speed 6, but does 1 damage. Okay, this is Chykka boosting Let's Rock at range 5. At 6 cards in hand, so we'll have to discard 1 friend of turn. Looks like he's digging for something. I have no idea what he'd be digging. Sure, Alpha Blade is a card that wins combat, but it's just so easily baitable, I feel like. EX Alpha Blade with 3 power. The Let's Rock. Aggressor Ordono with range behind it. The second copy performs pretty well here. Has just enough guard to beat a card like that. But this is the only threat that we're representing here in range 5 before Chip. With both Gamma Blades down. At least I'm pretty sure both Gamma Blades are down. And Rem Lethal is going to be setting an attack, spending 2 force. spends the Sabrabado. And spends a spike. Hope that this is a card that trades with the Alpha Blade. Hopefully it's a card that trades with a 3-power Alpha Blade. 2-power looks like Chip only sending 1 copy. Or apparently or that card. And it's not. So it's gonna be the apparently this card hits at enemy range. I did not realize. My bad, guys. My bad. The Zansei Ruga hits full board. I thought it was like a bug zapper situation on hit, but it's actually before. So my bad for not catching that earlier. Anyway, it's a fast move that hits for 3-4 damage. 2-gauge Ultra notably has the +2 speed on it as well. Unfortunately, it was the Bajonetto from Rum Lethal, so a little bit ambitious there. A little bit too ambitious there. Maybe not knowing that Chip has multiple just speed billion options at range. I guess I didn't know either. My bad. But anyway, the Zensei Ruga is going to hit for 4. And of course, stun out the Bajonetto that has no defenses. Chip finds himself at range 2. Chooses to stay at range 2 with the after as well, so it does not move. Although Chip down both copies of EX Cross, I will say. Ram Lethal spent a lot on that strike. Spent 3 cards from hand, right? To whiff. Which is why I was kind of hoping it would be like a slow guarded option. Which actually also beats the Alpha Blade. I mean, this is basically just Alpha Blade except like a little bit more damage. So I was hoping it would be like a slow guarded option. So I guess the call was correct from me, but just not quite remembering that this card hits full board. It's going to be superior boosted for Chip. That's going to be your next attack is EX. We're now looking at EX Alpha Blade as an option that deals a bunch of damage. Or that is fast, rather. And apparently Ram Lethal draws 3 off Exceeding, so Exceeding here's a no-brainer. Can spend 2 force for range and power. Back to Chip here. Chip does have like the fast slow mix up, should he choose to take it. I mean, Grasp is speed 8, although I think both copies of Grasp are down. So Alpha Blade is speed 7, power 5. Could just be Spike, right? Could just boost Sucker Sage. Actually, can't boost Sucker Sage, cancel Spike, because that does lose to Grasp, and I believe Ram Lethal does have a Grasp up. I mean, but it's, at the end of the day, it's still a mix-up, right? It's still a mix-up. But maybe you don't want to be playing mix-ups as Chip, where you're giving your where you're giving your opponent +3 power. Maybe that seems like not the best idea. Okay, Chip just sets a raw strike down, so I mean, Spike Alpha Blade mix-up, right? Could be Assault, I guess, but Spike Alpha Blade mix-up is kind of what I'm expecting it to be. Chip just goes for the Ram Lethal just goes for a block, and it's the Alpha Blade. So Alpha Blade will advance 3, will hit for 5 total damage. Of course, just blocked, so surely Ram Lethal will block most, if not all of this. So Chip has before advance 3, advancing past the opponent for +3 power, so total of 5 power, and then has after move 1 once Ram Lethal decides what to do with this block. Chip nobly finds himself in the corner, but Chip's a character that can get out of the corner quite easily, so not the biggest concern here for the time being. So that's a Grasp. That's an interesting spend. I was kind of thinking that maybe Ram Lethal wants to keep that option, keep holding that option over the head of Chip. But no, Ram Lethal spends the Grasp as 1 force to take 1 damage off the block. And Chip making this comeback slowly. Had a pretty brutal early game, but that Zansai Ruga brought him back into the game. Just Ram Lethal forgetting that Chip has a speed yes option at infinite range. I like how it's speed 9 too, so it just beats everything else. It ties with, I guess, Bang's card, but it beats like Battle Fixing. I don't know why, but okay, sure, cool. Beats like speed 6 ultras with light on them. Pretty crazy. Okay, it's going to be Ram Lethal initiating a strike. No force expenditures here. Wonder if this is just could just be cross second copy. It is cross second copy. Chip Wild Swings the Alpha Blade, which is not going to do it. Hand is now known for Chip. We see a hand of EX Dust, Beta Blade, Genrazan, Zansai Ruga, and Slash. So, I mean, there are possibilities for shenanigans with a 6-speed spike here, maybe even a 7-speed spike. No. Yeah, can't even have the 7-speed spike. But then what is the question? If you're Chip, I don't think you spend all your resources that way just yet. Chip also at range 5, so... Okay, things will start with a dash. Dashes into range 2. Of course, a lot of these cards don't really work so well at other ranges. We'll cancel. Is he looking to pop that speed, cancel into strike? +2 speed on the board. Cancel. +1 speed, cancel. And Chip just going for it. So, yeah, Chip just... I mean, this is guaranteed damage, right? This is 6 damage on the board. At speed 7. No EX Grasp available for Ram Lethal, so she just kind of has to take it. Equalizing health... Chip does equalize health totals here. Has only the Genrazan in his hand, though, so we'll have to rely on Wild Swings. The Shogun does at least mean that Ram Lethal doesn't have too many options in hand herself. So maybe this is what Chip is relying on, just the fact that, hey, need to equalize health totals now, but maybe... maybe resources are about even as well. Ram Lethal with 2 in hand, 2 engage, 9 in deck. Chykka with just the 1 card in hand, 1 in discard, and 28 possible Wild Swings. Yeah, Ram Lethal going to be initiating a strike here from hand. Surely Chip just Wild Swings this. Yep, has to. Wild Swings cross! And beats the sweep. Oh no, a little bit of luck going Chip's way now. And I mean, that was a huge expenditure there, right? Chykka, of course, has to be forced to be at range 5 because otherwise he'd lose the game. That was a 1-4 7 power sweep that basically required just cross to beat, right? I don't think anything else beats that. Yeah, from this position, nothing else beats that but cross. I guess block, but wow, what a wild swing there for Chykka. That is a huge turning point. Ram Lethal reshuffles. Chip prepares. And now Chip is the character that is full of resources now. We're reboosting Sabrabato here. Close 1, draw 2. We'll get cancelled. Ooh, we'll get cancelled. This is a pretty risky strike here if Ram Lethal goes for it. Because Chip is such a fast character at this kind of range. Unless you're playing the bait sweep, but no, it's not. That's actually just gonna be a cancel into a prep. Wow, Chip stays alive off that cross. Wow. I guess dive would also done the trick, but cross hits and gets you a gauge as well. Chip preps one more time now, full hand, 7 cards. Back to Ram Lethal here. Nobi, those Calvadoses are back in the deck, which seemed like the original Ram Lethal win con. Okay, it's just gonna be. Ooh, now this is a pretty spicy boost, right? Hit if the opponent was pushed through the one space plus 2 power. Probably, I mean, this is probably just used as a change cards, right? Change cards 1, draw 3. But Chips isn't in the corner, right? So there's a world where this plus 2 power actually matters. There's a world where that plus 2 power actually matters. Of course it's Chip, so Chip has after move 1 and probably could just dance out of the corner, but still, it could matter. Fastest Ram Lethal can go here would be speed 7 with an EX Dalro, but that wouldn't even kill, so the fastest killing option would be speed 6. Speed 6 EX Bajanetto would kill here from this position. Anyways, back to Chip here. Yeah, who has been able to fully restock after hitting that that big EX dust. We're going to see the Harakiri boosted, plus 1 speed, now advanced 2, draw 1. Will it be cancelled? Will be cancelled. Chip has 2 gauge to cancel. Chykka really thinking about this, whether he wants to cancel this. Chooses not to cancel, must discard 1 turn of turn. But gets out of the corner, gets that +1 speed on Ram Lethal as well. So Ram Lethal would have to match it with the UA. Chip actually just discards the known Genderzon. Back to Ram Lethal here. Notably, an interaction to watch out for is Grasp here for Ram Lethal. Grasp for Ram Lethal would push 2, and then this hit effect would give +2 power to it. So does not kill, right? Because it's only 6 damage, but that's a decently powerful option to watch out here for Chip. That's rather threatening. Maybe, dare I say, the main threat even. Okay, it's going to be the area shift, pushing 2, cancel. Cancel into what? Cancel into bait? Could it be a sweep bait? I'd love to see Ram Lethal go for a 1-4 sweep here. Oh, it's going to be a big change cards, looks like. Dumping the Grasp, I don't really like that, but that's going to be a big CC. Dropping 5, drawing 6. Again, couple good options down there. It's the Grasp that's down, and the Dowro, which could contest Chip on speed in theory at range 4. So I'm shocked to see that card go down, but maybe Cobalt looking for lethal answers now. It is now Chip's turn once again. At some point, this tension is just going to be cut by a scramble as Chip spends a Grasp to move to range 3. Okay, range 3 with +1 speed on the board for Chip. At some point, the tensions just feel that the tension's gonna be, if Cobalt takes too long, then Chip's just gonna scramble, cancel something, and Ram Lethal has a good chance of being sad from that. Chip can, of course, at range 3, if Ram Lethal takes a pass turn, can just boost +2 speed, cancel spike. I mean, one spike's in here, but the second spike could be in here or in here. So that's something that Ram Lethal does have to be concerned about. Fortunately, because of the way things are, I feel like Ram Lethal's going to have to do something this turn, something big. Passing turn to Chip in this position is just way too scary. I think. To be an expenditure of what, 2 force to move to range 5. Okay. Range 5 Alpha Blade is a card that hits, but so is the Gamma Blade. At speed 3. Red Lethal cannot hit unless it's a Calvados without boosting range. So you can boost range on the Aggressor Dono. You can boost range on the Bajonetto. At speed 6. But if Chip has multiple cancels here, the game could just be over. If Chip has like maybe a cross or an assault cancel into speed into something, game could be just over. Does Chip have the killing blow? So again, passing turn to Chip, incredibly scary there. But at least Cobalt did change the equation somewhat. Chykka taking good note of that discard. A lot of options are down. Like second copy of Dauro is down. Chip spends 2 force in the form of block and Gamma Blade to move to range 3 once more. Problem's not done. Chip is once again here. +1 speed at range 3. Notably, Chykka once again has the benefit of something like of cancels, whereas Cobalt does not. Both of these are slow, methodical players as we approach the 50-minute mark. I believe we're at minute 48 of the stream. So maybe like minute 45 of the game. As both players have been at single-digit HP for quite some time. Again, this is just game 1. We do have a potential 2 more games to come. So that Wild Swing cross feels like an eternity ago now. This is where we would benefit from some background music, but we don't have any. Okay. See a boost here? It's going to be the Okami. Just text the +1 speed. Is that... Could that be it? Could that be it? Okay, Chykka sets an EX attack. Takes it back. Checks the discard. Pairs it with a scramble. And sets EX Slash. And, of course, Rem Lethal will spend 2 force on this. Wild Swing. Spends, I don't know. And Wild Swing's the Calvados. So we gotta look again, and it's Dive. It's not gonna do it. Chykka takes game 1 with the chip. Rem Lethal just passed turn 1 too many times there. Holding EX Sweep. Interesting. Very interesting. I was wondering if Rem Lethal could have just struck. But no. The problem is if you lead an offensive initiation, that's just... Like, offensive EX Sweep is enough to survive most things, but that's a tough call to make, trying to lead with an offensive EX Sweep. But I think it's one that maybe Rem Lethal had to make. I don't think Rem Lethal was allowed to pass turn that many times. And Chip eventually just takes advantage of it with the Scramble, Cancel, EX Slash. Anyway, that's going to be game 1 going to Chykka. This is a best of 3. The next match is predetermined. Will be Soul Bad Guy from Chykka against Faust from Cobalt. Yeah, I think you just have to make the big boy call there if you're Cobalt and just swing with the EX. Like there were still probably options on what it could have been, right? There was still probably a mix-up. We saw the EX Majonetto in the hand, right? Just force Chykka to make that call, because otherwise Chykka had the gauge to scramble cancel you. We said it 20 minutes ago and finally it happened. But anyway, we have Soul Bad Guy, Zane's favorite character here. So this guy, when he cancels, gets plus power on his turn, and when he strikes after canceling, gets plus power on his turn, turning his red numbers into very big red numbers, basically. Very mix-up oriented character. Into Faust. Faust, of course, we saw last game, although we did not really see Faust gameplay. We kind of saw Faust getting rushed down. Faust, of course, the item toss character. When he strikes, he can declare this action to boost with the top card of his deck. Can ruin him, but can also benefit him as well, right? And it's quote-unquote free because you're boosting for the top card of your deck. But anyways, it's going to be game 2 coming your way right now. Cobalt will be going first. I personally really like the early Exceed on Faust. Just make your UA that much more reliable, in my opinion. So I'm a big fan of Exceeding early on Faust. Soul is a tricky one, because Soul really does want to Exceed, but it's just you have the time and the resources to Exceed. Like, are you allowed to Exceed, basically? But anyway, it's going to be the Mix boosted. This is a pretty spicy boost. I think that this is just... I think this is just an insane combat card, in my opinion. It's just a slow that works as a dodging mid-speed. And it's just so reliable, man. I don't like this boost, personally, but... I mean, there you go. One player is taking 3 non-lethal damage on and after, as well. So really, neither player wants to initiate here, because you want to be slower, and you're obviously slower on defense than you are on offense. So this is kind of like anti-initiating tech here from Faust, funnily enough. As you don't want that bomb to go off. Chykka initiating here I'm pretty sure this is just block. And Cobalt would do well to block him, but he instead plays focus, so will bomb himself. Well, the bomb only does 1 damage. But Faust kind of wastes the focus there. You see? Like, Faust, wastes the focus there. It does draw a card, but, I don't know. Focus is so good, man. Chykka just gets a gauge for free. I just kind of bets that Faust doesn't have the block on that, and doesn't. As Faust's going to be using that UA right away, so we'll be boosting with the top card. Boost the Destructive Goodwill, so we'll surely advance 2 and then draw 1. Because Faust with no boost can't... well, it does have the dive. The Scarecrow, excuse me. But no, Faust advances 2, and then now we'll strike. Cross Spike mix-up, I'm sure. Chykka just opts for the Wild Swing, and yeah, there's the cross. Wild Throw obviously not performing well there at all. Doesn't get stunned, but yeah, that's not gonna do. That's not gonna. We're not gonna win against anything. First hit of the game in for Faust. That's gonna be 3 damage to Soul. Soul finds himself at range 5. Range 5 is definitely not the place to be if you're Soul. So we'll boost free to advance 2. We'll cancel and we'll just strike. Range 3 makes up for Soul. Soul does put a little spin on it with a card like Gunflame, which is just a super assault. Fafnir is kind of a mid-speedy shape. This goes up to 6 power. Banditbringer, an additional Spike-like, although we just spent 1. Additional Sweep-like for Soul as well. So yeah, range 3 mix up with +1 power for Soul incoming. Faust does not have above curve range 3 options. Unfortunately, Thrust is probably not going to be enough guards. So you probably don't want to be playing that. And none of these cards are even on curve at range 3, right? So doesn't have the gauge for the what could this be. Is playing the Thrust, which again, like we called out, doesn't have enough guard, right? This card only has 4 guard. And Soul is surely striking with a card that hits for at least 5, right? Assault and Gunflame both hit for 5. And yeah, I think Cobalt just missed that because they looked like they were going to counterattack. They only took the 4 damage, but it's going to be 5 damage Gunflame. It's hit gain advantage on it, of course. Builds a gauge for Soul. 5 damage stuns the Thrust out, as we called out before. EX Thrust performs way better, but not meant to be. And it's going to be Soul gaining advantage off the Gunflame as well. Probably just preps. Yep, there it is. Back to Cobalt here. Finding himself uncomfortably close to Soul and uncomfortably close to the corner as well. Can make space with a boost, like, was it 100 ton weight? But instead we're going to see the Faultless boosted, +4 guard at the start of your turn, add this to gauge. Again, 4 guard just feels like it's not enough for a Soul Strike. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Soul boost something, cancel Strike. Just deny Faust the second gauge as well. And yeah, there it is. Plus hit, +1 power, draw 2. Strike. Even a Grasp here at 5 power pops the Faultless defense, right? So you definitely need to be striking with something that has defenses here. Soul did throw away 1 Wild Throw, right? So that is the Ignore Garmer option. Something like Sweep here performs pretty well if you're for Faust in a lot of cases. +1 power, draw 2 is boosted for Chykka right now, so it's +2 power really because of the UA. Wonder if Soul plays Cross. Oh, I wonder if Soul plays Cross, because Sweeps looks so good here for Faust. Sweep is kind of the only thing that looks good here. The thing is, like, because one of these was spent already. Oh, okay. Cobalt going for the Soul Reed Dive. Unfortunately, Soul Reed Dive does not perform well. It is just the Grasp from Chykka, so the Grasp will do 5 damage. We'll draw Soul 2 cards. And then, of course, the dive gets stunned because 4 guard is not enough for anything in this situation. And Soul has Faust in the corner, exactly where he wants him. Faust just going for a strike again. It's going to be the Meteors, so the same effect as the Bomb. Second mix down. That sucks, in my opinion. I think that's really bad. Like, this card is just so good. It gets you at the corner as well. It's 5 guard, which is enough for most cases, which is enough for enough cases on frontside Soul. So seeing both of these down is just really disappointing for Faust, in my opinion. This card is just so good. I love this card. This card is so good. Maybe it's even too good. But anyway, as the meteors boosted, both players have the faster players after take 3 non-lethal damage. This time it's actually reversed. So Faust will Soul will go first. Soul actually hits Faust here, which is the key difference, right? Focus will hit. Faust blocks all the damage. Focus will mitigate 2 of the 3 damage from the meteors. Both players build a gauge off that, though. Back to Soul here, who's built a 2 gauge. I wonder if Soul has time to build gauge number 3. I don't know if Soul does, but I wonder if he does. I don't think he does, but he could. Chykka just preps once more. I mean, says, hey, Faust, you're in an awful position. You do have the 2 gauge to exceed if you want, but this positioning is definitely not where you want to be. Faust initiates another strike here. Okay, so max range, and both players have before +1 power, the mini Faust. This is really aggressive play here from Cobalt. +0 to 1 range means that everything hits. A card to watch out for is the Afro. Not the Afro, the boost on Afro. What's it called? Snip, Snip, Snip is now an on-curve ignore guard option at speed 6, power 4 with ignore guard. That's definitely an option to watch out for. With this boost their range 2. This card just wins combat so often. I feel like Chykka just has Swat Swing. Unless he has EX Cross, which I don't think he does, so just Watt Swing if you're Chykka here. I mean, if you have block in hand, you could block it, obviously. And just hope it's not Spike. Hope it's not Spike mix-up. Yep, Chykka just sets the Wild Swing. It's a Grasp, actually. Grasp beats Fafnir, okay. Grasp is able to give Faust more space as well. Grasp also on curve, so it'll be 4 power Grasp incoming to Soul. Soul Wild Swing the Fafnir, which doesn't perform well. Actually would have lost to the Night Raid Vortex, or would have traded with the Night Raid Vortex. In fact, lost because Soul would have been in range 1 with 3 gauge in Faust's face. Faust's face, excuse me there. But as it stands, Faust able to build a little bit of space, builds gauge number 3 as well. Not going for the exceed side, maybe going for these ultras. Faust ultras are not terrible. I mean, that's speed 6 at a good range, so I mean, it's always going to hit. Decent, as long as you don't get screwed over by your boosts. I believe the last 2 times I played this card, I got screwed over by my boosts, though. In that, like, I missed both times, which sucked, but... And of course, the Bone Crushing Excitement, which is a move, pretty dang good move. But anyway, it's going to be a canceled badass. So this is going to be either Dive or Night Raid Vortex. Night Raid Vortex hits for 6. Dive hits for 7. So you can't just defend with a regular sweep here. It's got to be a focus. And Faust is actually down a focus. But this is probably just EX Dive. Right? At 5 speed, 7 power. And yeah, oh, but gets called out by the what could this be? Did Chykka forget this was an option? We just discussed it. Let's Rock's a good one. Draws 1 now. Okay. And then second card is the 100-ton weight, which pushes Soul back to range 5, which is totally fine. And builds a little, draws another card, and builds another card as well. Such a pretty risky strike there for Chykka. We were just talking about this option. It's going to be 4 damage, 3 after armor. EX Dive will get stunned out. And Faust actually builds a whole bunch of gauge off that, right? Gets 2 continuous boosts that both add to gauge on hit. And of course, obviously hit with the card as well. So really, really good conversion there for Faust. Now it's 4 gauge for the Elder Ultra. Bone Crushing Excitement. Attacks with higher speed do not hit you before advance 3. At 7 power, this is a very, very reliable Ultra if you are have the correct positioning for it. So That's something to watch out here for if you're Soul. Luckily, Soul still, while Soul did commit a lot to that, obviously a badass cancel, Soul had started with 2 gauge, so still relatively okay. Still has the gauge left for cancels in the future. So not the worst result for Chykka, but not a great one, I will say. Looks like Faust playing to exceed, spends a grasp and a scarecrow to do so. And now Faust can reveal the top 2 cards of deck and boost with one of them, discards the other one, then strikes. So gets gets a lot more reliable options here. As Chykka performs a big change cards. I think it was like change cards 4, drawing 5. Faultless boosted for Faust. Back to Soul here at range 5. Apologies, just had to ban the bot. Soul boosts before close 1. Now cards that you hit for Soul, namely a dive and the Night Raid Vortex. The 1/4 sweep shape that Soul has. So the Faultless will add to gauge at start of turn. Faust at range 5 has a couple options that hit, namely the second copy. Actually, the second copy of this is down, so that doesn't hit, but there is a dive-like option in form of Scarecrow. I believe there's one left, which has before close 8 on it. Okay, what is going on here? What happened there? Looks like Trumpet's getting boosted, but I don't know where this second love came from. I was not paying attention, unfortunately. Looks like we'll knock it. So Chykka has the ability to tech this now at the cost of 2 force. Looks like Chykka did not take this opportunity, though. Okay, it's now taking the opportunity. So spent the Bandbringer and the Cross to tech it. Notably, this is still cancelable, though, so Faust can spend a force to, or spend a gauge to cancel this boost, even though it doesn't do anything. Even though, I mean, it has no effect now. It looks like that's exactly what happened, and now Faust will set a strike at range 5. Oh, it's a bait. It's a bait. The Night Raid Vortex will go first. We'll hit for 2 after armor. And the focus will hit back for 4. Although Soul is now in the face of Faust, so, I mean, it's not great. But that's actually really bad because the positioning is such. It's just really, really bad. Chykka preps. Faust has a bunch of force. Should probably just use that force to leave, or maybe just boost Assault to leave. This is not the position you want to be in as Faust. Soul will eat you. Soul will absolutely eat you alive. Faust says, I don't care. I'm going to be boosting with the top 2 cards. Finds an Afro and finds a parry. So does Soul want, or does Faust want more cards at the cost of guard? Maybe telegraphing the attack a little bit if you lose that guard. Or does Faust want the parry onto Soul? There are some legitimately good parry targets that you want to hit. Definitely hit. Tyrant Wave, I think, is one of them. Wild Throw could be another, depending on if you want to crush that side of the mix-up. I think both Ultras are actually viable parry targets. Cobalt checks the discard, looking like he's going to take the parry option. Pretty surprised to see just a strike here at range 1. Pretty surprised. Parry's focus. Parry hits as well. And then, of course, we'll set a strike. Our range 1 options. Unfortunately, the mix is down. Could be second copy of Thrust. That's pretty scary. That's a 7 damage option to watch out for, SP3. Could also be mixing it up with a snip as well. But parry focus, right? The only card with 7 defenses is heavily telegraphing the thrust. Heavily telegraphing the thrust there. If you're Faust. Does Soul have an answer? Soul does not have... Soul kind of has an answer. I mean, this is what... It's going to hit for 3. It's going to go first. But that thrust is going to hit back for big damage. Going to hit back for 7. Or going to hit back for 5, excuse me. Because Volcanic Viper at least build some armor, right? Because this was played defensively. So it's not the end of the world. Soul gets pushed to range 3. I mean, of course, Gunflame still a really good card. Although Soul boosting less rock, I believe EX Assault or EX Slash is an option for Soul at this point in time. I think Faust has EX Slash up as well, though. Could be an interesting clash. Both copies of the What Could This Be, unfortunately, are down for Faust. Faust has 3 cards in deck, 5 in hand, so if Faust chooses to take the action here, there's a pretty good chance that Cobalt will get the boost that he wants. And if that boost is like an advanced 3 boost, then you can nullify that EX Assault, at least for this combat. And yeah, Faust's doing just that. There's an advanced 3 there. That's probably the one that Faust wants. Unless we want to bait out the EX Assault here. Is Faust really going to bait out an EX Assault? That'd be sick if Faust was able to bait out EX Assault with something like Sweep. But you can't boost Afro then, is the thing. Because Afro gives you -6 guard. So you can't actually bait out the Assault. That's kind of sad. So it looks like your only real option here is Advanced 3. if you're Faust. Yep, and that's exactly what Faust takes. Moves to center of the board. And now we'll initiate a strike at range 1. 5 in hand, 1 in deck now for Faust. 5 in hand, 7 in deck for Soul. Expect a big change cards in Faust's near future. Get some of these options back into the deck, like the Thrust, the Cross, the 2-gauge Ultra. Make sure your opponent doesn't know exactly what's in your hand, because Soul is a character that relies on mix-ups, right? So if your opponent knows what's coming, or if you, as a mix-up character, know what your opponent's options are, you can play the mix-up to dominate their hand, right? So I do see that coming. It's going to be a sweep. And it's going to be a sweep into Watswing Night Raid Vortex. So sweep will go first. We'll hit for 6. Night Raid Vortex is not stunned. We'll hit back for 5. Pulls the Gunflame out. Night Raid Vortex will hit for 5. Chykka will replace the card that he lost. How now is 5 gauge to his name. He has 5 gauge, but the problem is he only has 4 HP. Does he have time to exceed? Does Chykka have time to exceed? I would say theoretically Chykka has time to exceed, but it's really scary. It's really scary. You have to exactly count what 5 cards are left and see if you have time to exceed here. What are your ultras again? Maybe you hit him with a Tyrant Rave. I don't know. Maybe that's in your plans. But Chykka does have 5 gauge, and that's a lot. I think if you're Chykka here, you have to calculate exactly what 5 cards are left for Faust before taking any actions. I think Chykka's done just that. That's a +1 power, draw 2, cancel. Into a flip. Oh, wait, when Soul flips, he strikes. Oh, no, I forgot about that. My bad, forgot the kicker on Soul. So Soul is now striking with +3 power, hit draw 2. With an EX? Is this EX Assault? Oh, no, Faust does not have a speed 7 option left? I'm pretty sure this is EX Slash. Oh no, could the game just be over? Could the game be over because Faust never reshuffled? Got those options back. Oh, that would be a brutal way to go. That would be a brutal way to go if that was the case. So I'm pretty sure this is an ace power EX Slash that gains advantage. Draws 2 for Soul. And did Cobalt fall into the pitfall of not reshuffling early enough? Get those juicy options back into the deck. Oh, plays the bone crushing excitement to get out. Oh my. So the EX Assault will go first. Will miss because of the passive on the bone crushing excitement, and the wheelchair will save Faust for now. We'll save Faust for now. I don't know why Faust spent the what could this be from Gage, but fine, whatever. Maybe he's not playing on CCing. And the wheelchair gets Faust out of the corner. We forgot that was an option, which made that combat way more hype. Wheelchair advances 3, of course, will miss. Oh my. That's a huge investment for Soul as well. It's going to be a push 2 pushing Soul out of the way. Yeah, Faust. Faust unfortunately gets to reveal the one card here because there's no 2 cards on top of deck. Faust Busu Kemi. Probably should have checked what that card was. And strikes at range 5. Is this the... Well, there are 2 cards left. I'm pretty sure Scarecrow is one of them. Scarecrow's a card that hits. So... Soul Bad Guy needs some armor. Has Volcanic Viper. Has maybe a block left in there. 2 in hand, 5 in deck. Surely this is not just a bait, but... Wow. Can't believe that, can't believe... We also forgot about Wheelchair. It's a Scarecrow. Tyrant Rave's not going to do it, but we have another chance here. And the Volcanic Viper will save Chykka for now. So that's going to be 2 armor. Volcanic Viper will, of course, go first and miss. The Scarecrow will come in and will pop Chykka for 2. Chykka's still alive here. Has 9 HP. In theory, Chykka can do 9 damage, but it's going to be very tough. With only 1 gauge. And only 2 life to his name. The hand for Faust is just a sweep. Chykka with 2 in hand, 3 in deck. Either it's got to prep or reshuffle, right? Depending on what options are left. It's going to be very difficult for Soul to hit that 9 breakpoint, right? Chykka opts for the reshuffle. Gotta get those options back. If you're Soul, if you're Faust... Is there a world where you, well, you probably just let that, you probably just swing with a sweep, right? You gotta count how many Bandit Bringers are left, because, oh, Bandit Bringer will miss at range 1, huh? Unfortunately, you cannot, like, UA here, because you have no deck. So, do you just swing with a sweep? Do you prep? Some interesting questions here. Depends on what 5 cards are left for Soul. Unfortunately, Faust UA does nothing here. And yeah, Cobalt just bites the bullet and preps back. Chykka probably preps again. There it is. Back to Cobalt. Cobalt now can boost and strike. Probably the option that he takes. You don't want to be waiting too long for Soul. It's going to be the area shift. Where is Soul going? Soul going to range 3? Soul's going to range 3. It's going to get canceled. Normally cancel means that this Ultra no longer is acceptable. It's going to be... Oh, it's going to be the Scramble, forcing Soul to Wild Swing. And it's an on-curve slash. Oh, but Chykka Wild Swing's block. Oh, the game's not over yet. Oh, my. The game's not over yet. Chykka, of course, will spend the force to not die. Chykka, the Wild Swing saves him. That's the downside of Scramble, man. Scramble's not... It's very difficult for Scramble to make an unbeatable setup. Faust just going for it, though. Faust has... Your attack is EX. That's a big one. Or plus 0 to 1 range before plus 1 power. Oh, forces Chykka to spend the force on it. Off the trumpet. Chykka, you have to spend the force here. You can't. Can you spend the gauge? If you spend the gauge, you then make Tyrant Rave no longer a threat, and that could be. This could be a useful option. The thing is, you don't know if Cobalt is. We don't know if Cobalt's playing from hand or whether he's wild swinging this either. He's got exactly one card left in hand. Surely Chykka has to let. He has to tech the trumpet here. He has to tech the trumpet. Has to tech the trumpet. Discards a dive and assault to do so. Is it going to be Wild Swing or is it going to be that last card? Because Faust is striking here. He's got it. It's that last card. Chykka dives over. Oh. And it's a sweep from Faust. Chykka lives once more. Wow. One card left in hand at range 3. Just preps. What do you do here? If your Soul says I'm going for it. What do we get? Area Shift or Advance 3? Area Shift. Where are we going? Soul's going to range 5. And Wild Swings. I mean, nothing for Soul hits. Chykka's Wild Swings himself. Oh, Love. There's no boost there, so Love misses. Sweep also misses. Chykka is now at range 6. Range 6 is... nothing hits for Faust at range 6. Now Cobalt's got to prep too. Wow, this can't believe this is still game. It's still going, this game. Chykka preps once more. Forces the scramble. Forces the scramble. Both players have before advance 1. Now draw 2. Both players have after take 3 non-lethal damage. No, you can't boost that one. It's gotta be Donut. It's gotta be Donut. You're at 9 HP. Yeah, okay, it is Donut. Oh, it strikes from hand. Is it the Ultra? It's Scarecrow. Chykka walks with second block. No way. No way. Oh, scramble. Wow. Speechless. Wow. And now Chykka has a full hand and can just take the game away by multiple canceling power boosts into a strike. Cobalt has no hands. Oh no. This is the craziest game I've ever seen. This is the craziest season 7 game I've ever seen. The second block off the top saves Chykka once more. And now Chykka, I think, is favored to win this game. He builds gauge number 3 by blocking this. This is a 6 damage. This is a 6 damage Scarecrow. Surely Chykka blocks all of it. And then he's got multiple power boosts to cancel. And poor Cobalt's only got 9 HP to work with. And no hands. And no hands. So surely Chykka can just win with a strike here. Surely Chykka can just win with a strike here. He's got to spend 2 force here. I don't know why he's spending from gauge. I feel like you should spend from hand. Because you definitely want to be canceling enough such that your move has 9 power, right? Although maybe Chykka's going for like a wild throw. I don't love that. Chykka spends a sweep and a block. Has 2 gauge left over. And, well, Chykka surely can just build his own Ultra here. 2 gauge. Needs to bump up his move to 9 damage. Area shift. Okay, area shift. Push Faust away. Okay. Cancels it. +1 power. Cancel. +1 power. Takes it back. Cancels. Takes it back. Cancels. This is why I wanted Chykka to build gauge number 3, but fine, whatever. EX. Wait, EX dives, but it's not EX dive. EX Fafnir. That is 6, 7, 8, 9. Faust is dead. Oh no. Oh no. Chykka says probably didn't deserve to win this one. 2 wild swing blocks off the scramble save Chykka as his soul ekes the win over Faust. Cobalt, you gotta feel for Cobalt on this one. That was just absurd. Absolutely absurd. Didn't Chykka wild swing a volcanic viper as well? Absolutely absurd. Wow. Looks like they're going to be playing game 3 here. But Chykka's won the set 2-0. It's a Swiss format tournament. So Chykka will move into the 1-0 bracket while Cobalt drops into the 0-1. But wow. Oh man. Wow. I can't believe what happened. I cannot believe what happened that game. Absolutely insane. Wow. Oh. That was a game of Exceed. That was truly a game of Exceed, I'll say. Anyway, game number 3 is going to be just played for fun between both these players. Chykka will be bringing out the Potemkin, the grappler for the season, of course. Initiates strikes at range 1 will get a bonus. And to the Nagoriyuki. Nagoriyuki, kind of a rushdowny type character with an engine, but the engine can blow up in his face because once he exceeds, he kind of peters out, and his specials, I believe, are just invalid. Should be an interesting matchup. Maybe Nagoriyuki. I feel like Nagoriyuki would be able to perform pretty well here. Just kind of pop the defenses of Potemkin. Just kind of overwhelm him, but I don't know. We'll see. Potemkin going first here. Nagoriyuki going second. Take a look at the kits. We have Assault Like. We have Double Sweep, Mid Speed. We have mid Speed, but like doesn't ignore armor or anything. We have Dive Like with 2 power, 4 defenses. We have another card that does no power but moves Potemkin in. We have the Heat Knuckle, which is a bad sweep. We have Gigantic Kai, which is actually a good card. Like, this card's very good. Like, good deltas on it, good armor. Closes 3, gets advantage. Basically everything you want out of a ranged ultra for Potemkin. Also, Heavily Potemkin Buster, which is a move that we saw earlier. Check out, I think, my first Season 7 commentary if you want to see a Heavily Potemkin Buster used. But it's going to be a prep for Potemkin into a Let's Rock for Nagoriyuki. Nagoriyuki has multiple speed 4 range 4 options. The Komuriyuki is an above curve dive like. It's an above curve dive assault, basically. Also has a slow fireball 2 to 5 at 2 speed with 6 guard. Anyway, while we were looking at the kits, the Let's Rock got Ukemi'd, and then Nagoriyuki advanced to range 1. Of course, Potemkin gets a little bit of a bonus for initiating range 1, so I don't see why Potemkin wouldn't. Just send a card and see what happens. But instead, we're going to be boosting Steadfast if you initiate +1 speed, otherwise +4 guard. Notably, doesn't get the value out of the close 1, but A little bit extra speed should Cobalt not strike. A little bit extra guard, just in case Potemkin needs to counterattack. Not a bad boost. We're going to be seeing the Knight less boosted. This is the first time I've seen this card boosted. Add up to 3 cards from your hand to your gauge. So, Nagoriyuki going to be adding the Kyryoroshi, the Shizuruyuki, and one other card. Up, and a Grasp. So, builds that gauge. Ultras for this character, right, is the Wasaruyuki, which is the card that was just boosted, right? A little bit of recursion, 5 damage on curve. 4 guard as well. But the Zanzetsu is the way to reset your character. Should you burn out too quick on front side and you be forced to exceed, obviously you exceed on reshuffle. And then your specials no longer work. But this is your way of reversion. The way Potemkin will be initiating strike +1 power, +1 speed. It's just going to be a 7 power sweep. Runs into the focus. Focus discards the ignore guard option for Nagoriyuki. And then Focus will hit back for 3, of course, because Potemkin has +1 armor on the strike as well. Good early start here. Potemkin builds gauge number 1. Nagoriyuki has to prep. Second slide had boosted as Steadfast. I guess kind of predicting that Nagoriyuki wants to stay in a relative melee range. Wants to brawl things out, and so far it's looking that way. +1 speed, with an option to tech here for Nagoriyuki. That's the second Bloodsucking Universe down. And Nagoriyuki spends a dust to do so. So no speed or guard. Potemkin, of course, replaces it with +4 armor. This is probably the real one you want to tech. Off the Gigantic. Nago spends 2 force, notably 2 force that was turned into gauge earlier. So, to retreat to... Okay, fine. I mean, a little bit confusing there, but... I mean, obviously we don't need to be holding on to that much gauge right now. But then the question, of course, begs itself, like, why did we build that gauge earlier if we were just going to use it as force later to leave? But... we're not going to question it. We're just gonna let things go. We are at range 3 with +1 speed, so it seems good. Potemkin sets an EX attack. I mean, EX Assault is just really good with +4 armor, right? Could be EX Mega Fist as well. But it's EX Dust! Oh, man. That's a big boy EX Dust. 6 damage incoming. Focus is not going to do it for Nagoriyuki. Ooh, man. And Potemkin still has those slashes and those Mega Fists for later. That is a big boy spike. I mean, had a bunch of armor on it, right? So it's not like that Dust was ever going to quote-unquote lose combat. But that is pretty brutal. Nagoriyuki strikes. Range 3 options include the Shizuruyuki, the Kamoriyuki, and the Slow Fireball. Or just range 3 mix-up here. Notably, a card like Sweep performs decently for Nagoriyuki here, with both spikes, with both dusts down for Potemkin. Chykka displays the Heat Knuckle. It is going to be the Kamoriyuki. Kamoriyuki goes first. The Assault-like will hit for 4. The Heat Knuckle will push Nagoriyuki back to range 4, and will hit back for 5. Nago will gain advantage. Will draw 4 and discard 2 off of the UA. So this is that engine that we were talking about earlier, which allows Nago to be a little bit of of a rushdown bully. The fact that he just draws insanely off these specials, right? But can burn out too quick if you're unable to build the gauge, or you're unable to hit the opponent. You can burn out too quick. But we're going to see the crawl boosted off the Zansetsu. That's going to be plus 0 to 1 range, hit gain advantage. Range 3 mix-up now live for Nagoriyuki at range 4. Of course, with this boost. Back to Potemkin here. This is not the ideal place you want to be. Both your slide heads are down as well. So that's an option that closes you in. Of course, your boosts also close you in 1. So we're going to be boosting Burly Heart. If you initiate, plus 2 power, otherwise plus 3 armor. Gets teched. Will not be cancelled. Nagoriyuki chooses not to cancel it. Now he can play range 2 options at range 3 to gain advantage. Cross is just the freest. Chykka preps. We've seen Cobalt take free crosses here in the past. Will he do so again here? Moving to range 5, where an option like Zarameyuki is basically uncontestable. But could be playing the mix up here. I mean, 2 games of playing cross in this position. Maybe Chykka attempts to chase with something like a Hammerfall. Chykka plays his own cross, okay. From hand, notably. Wanted to kind of escape that mix-up and then said, okay, the cross is fine. Nagoriyuki moves back to range 5, where, of course, a second copy of Zarameyuki would hit. At only speed 2, though, so a card like Hammerfall or Dive would move Potemkin in before the slow fireball would hit back. But, of course, Chykka Wild Swings block once more. It's Chika's favorite Wild Swing. It's going to be a 5 damage Zarameyuki coming in. Chykka spends 1 gauge, notably. Do we not need gauge where we're going, Chykka? It looks like we don't. Spends 2 gauge to negate the damage fully. Nagoriyuki can spend force to close 2. Chooses not to. We'll draw 4 and discard 2. Okay, Nago discards 2 cards. Potemkin boosts huge. Now his range 4 options will hit at range 5. Notably, Hammerfall is one of those options, but Dive is more reliable here. With hit, push or pull 1 as well. Nago only down to 5 cards left in deck, so that Exceed is coming soon. That's a burnout style Exceed. Nago just preps. Potemkin preps. Both players now with a fully stocked hand. Notably, both of range 5 options for Nago are down. This card right here. Badass no cancel from Nago. Interesting. Nago with 7 in hand, 2 in deck. Badass no cancel, huh? Interesting. Very interesting. I mean, Nago just going to play the meatiest counterattack possible, which is probably going to be, what, EX this card. Shizuryuki. Both sweeps are down. Hopefully it takes focus, though. Because there's a world where if Potemkin initiates Hammerfall here, playing this card is an absolute nightmare. Because this card would go first and miss. And then the Hammerfall would slide in afterward. Nago's options are also few and far between, so Chykka has a pretty good idea of what the mix-up is, or what sides of the mix-up are still up, rather. Doing his due diligence and checking the discard pile right now. And here we have a patented Chykka turn, taking multiple minutes. As Chykka goes through every option in his head. Well, not every option, but basically every option he can think of before choosing a move. Very diligent player. And is that a strike we see? Is that a strike we see? Nago takes a look at the backside of his Exceed, happening very soon. 2 cards left in deck for Nago at this juncture. Chykka now checks his own discard. He, of course, has 6 in hand, 15 in deck, and finally boosts to Let's Rock. Says it's not my turn to strike. It might be your turn. Of course, Nago does not have anything that hits at this range, so we'll have to cancel probably a movement boost into a strike. And Nago just sets a strike down again. Range 5. No fireballs up. So none of these cards actually hits. Oh, Chykka wanted to play dive and took it back and plays dive again. Whoa. Chika's dive's gonna hit. Chika's dive's gonna hit. Nago's EX dive goes first, will miss. Potemkin will dive over with the +1 range and will hit back for 5 after armor. There's a hit, push or pull 1 here that Chykka must perform. Wow. Can't believe both players just wanted, wanted to get closer. Chykka was willing to take damage. She was so willing to take damage there. Or maybe there are no slow options here. It could just be that the only slow option is the 3-speeder, and the 3-speeder is really a 4-speeder. But Chykka builds 2 gauge off that. It's gonna be 4 gauge for Potemkin. Huge swing. Both in terms of resources and damage. Huge swing. That badass for Cobalt did not work in his favor one bit. Not one bit. Made him too fast. Anyway, it's back to Potemkin here. And of course, Potemkin's dive was always going to hit, right? Because we were at range 5. With plus max range boosted. So Potemkin's dive was always going to hit. That's a card that makes sense. And now we see the +1 power ignore armor. Into an EX. EX Potemkin Buster. Or, yeah, EX Potemkin Buster perhaps? EX Garuda. EX Megafist even at speed 6. Oh, that can't be EX Megafist. Okay, never mind. EX Potemkin Buster is just kills. Is right? No, yes, it does. It just does kill. It's 9 total damage. Oh my! Does the game end here? The game ends here. The game ends here. I guess Chykka saw that Nagoriyuki had no way to avoid the EX Potemkin Buster, and that's gonna be it. That's gonna be game 3 going to Chykka as well. Oh, this one was a little bit more dominant, I would say, than Mr. Wild Swing 2 blocks in a row, and Wild Swing 3 armored options in a row, I believe. But anyway, that's gonna be it for me. Some really some really hype gameplay towards it. I mean, game one was a bit of a snoozer, but well, game 1 was close, so it was just a bit of a snoozer. I felt like, I don't know, but games 2 and game 3. Well, no, game 1 was close. It just felt like feels like an eternity ago. I think all 3 games were hype, but I can't remember. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the Backyard Brawl content. That's going to be Chykka moving into the 1-0 bracket. Cobalt, unfortunately, dropping down to the 0-1 bracket. But we've still got 4 more weeks of this tournament. Hopefully, I don't know if everyone's played their matches for round 1, so I don't know if there are any more matches coming this week. Unfortunately, I'm busy this weekend, so I won't be able to get any matches in. Maybe tomorrow night. If someone is playing tomorrow night, I will play. Or I will cast. But hope you guys enjoyed the Backyard Brawl Guilty Gear Strive the board game content. If you did and you're on Twitch, feel free to follow. If you are on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. And we'll see you when we see you. Either tomorrow if there's a match tomorrow night and I'm around. Or definitely next week sometime, maybe Sunday nights. I don't know when the brackets for week 2 get released. But until then, guys, take care and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.